First from the NBC 10 I-Team, former House Speaker Gordon Fox is set to be sentenced tomorrow in federal court. He admits that he took a $52,000 bribe and used more than $100,000 in campaign cash for himself. He's already pleaded guilty to bribery, wire fraud, and filing a false tax return, and he's reached a plea deal that calls for 3 years in federal prison.
NBC 10 has been covering this case closely since federal agents raided Fox's home and State House office in March of 2014. And tonight, we have Team 10 coverage as the former speaker gets ready to be sentenced.
The I-Team's Parker Gavigan obtained dozens of letters sent to the judge and supporters of Fox and his critics, too.
But first, I-Team reporter Katie Davis is live in the studio tonight with why that prison sentence is far from certain. Katie?
Patrice, we won't know for sure until tomorrow morning. Prosecutors and Fox's defense attorney both filed paperwork recommending that 3-year sentence, but the final decision will come down to Judge Mary Lisi.
In just a few hours, disgraced former House Speaker Gordon Fox learns his fate. Inside a federal courtroom closed to cameras, cell phones, and computers, Judge Mary Lisi will decide whether to sign off on a 3-year plea deal or hand down a harsher prison sentence.
Just because there's a plea agreement does not mean that the sentence is a done deal.
That's especially true in federal court and especially true with Judge Lisi. She uses her independent judgment and will make a determination. It is certainly not a done deal with her.
NBC 10 legal analyst Mark Dana says the judge will weigh all the factors, especially Fox's own words, if he chooses to speak.
I think he will say something. I think he's going to express the fact that he's remorseful. Any good lawyer with a client like this is going to want the judge to hear from that person and to have them say in their own words that they're very sorry they did this. And that does go a long way.
And once the sentence is determined, Fox will be free until his report date. That's the day when he'll have to turn himself in to a federal prison. Fox can request a location close to home like Devens in Massachusetts or Danbury in Connecticut. But the final decision is made by the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Once he's behind bars, he'll serve most, if not all, of his sentence. The last few months are typically spent in a halfway house. But federal guidelines mean there's no early release for good behavior.
3 years in jail is no cakewalk. I mean, that's not going to be an easy thing for him to do. You lose your liberty for 3 years. That's a high toll.
And again, federal court is closed to television cameras, and Judge Lisi's courtroom is closed to cell phones and computers. So we won't know the sentence until one of our NBC 10 reporters can physically run outside and deliver the news. Live in the studio, I'm I-Team reporter Katie Davis, NBC 10 News.